This story is from the time of the Judges. The people of Israel were serving foreign gods called Baals, and everybody did whatever they felt like. They didn't worship God or keep his law. The people would worship false gods. Then God would organise for other countries to attack Israel. Then Israel would cry out to God for help, and God would send them a judge to rescue them and lead them. Then, when the judge died, the people would forget about God and serve false gods, and the whole cycle would repeat itself. At the beginning of this story, the people of Israel had forgotten about God again and were being oppressed by the Midianites. The people of Israel had to hide in caves in the mountains. The Midianites destroyed their towns and destroyed their crops. And the people of Israel cried out to God for help. Now Gideon was the youngest son in a very insignificant family. One day Gideon was preparing wheat grains in a wine press to hide it from the Midianites when an angel appeared and spoke to him.
"The Lord is with you, you mighty warrior, you mighty and courageous warrior."
But if God is with us, why is all this bad stuff happening to us? What happened to God rescuing his people?
"Well, I'm sending you to save Israel. I will be with you and you will all work together and you will whack the Midianites real hard."
Please show me that it will happen like you said. I've got some sheep's wool here. I'll put the wool on the ground. If tomorrow morning the ground is dry but the sheep's wool is wet, then I will know that you will use me to save Israel like you said.
And that's exactly what happened in the morning. The ground was completely dry, but the sheep's wool was soaking wet, wet enough that when they squeezed the water out, they filled a bucket with water.
Please don't be angry, but please can we do the test again? This time let the sheep's wool be dry when the ground is wet.
And that's what God did. The next morning, the ground was wet, but the wool was completely dry. So Gideon believed that God was going to use him to save Israel from the Midianites. Gideon and all of the army with him set up camp in a valley near where the Midianites were, so that they could get organised to fight them. And God said to Gideon,
"You've got too many people. Israel might think they won by their own strength. First I want you to send home everyone who's scared."
So Gideon started with 32,000 people. 22,000 people went home, leaving only 10,000 people still in his army.
"No, that's still too many. Take all the people to the river, and then I'll tell you which ones to take and which ones to send away."
So Gideon took all of his people down to a river.
"Now, everybody who laps at the water, like a dog, put in one place, and those who kneel down to drink, put separately in a different place."
And of the 10,000 people, 300 people drank by lapping, but 9,700 people drank by kneeling down.
"Take the 300 men who drank by lapping, and send all the others home."
So the army that began with 32,000 people now had just 300 people. What on earth was God thinking?
"Gideon, if you're still afraid, I want you to go down to the Midianite camp and listen to what they are saying. Then you'll be more encouraged."
So Gideon sneaked down to the edge of the Midianite camp. There were hundreds and thousands of enemy Midianites, filling the whole valley like sand on the seashore. And he listened to one of the enemy's soldiers, who was talking to his friend.
"I had a dream last night. In my dream, a cake of barley bread tumbled into our camp, rolled right up to a tent and attacked it, turning it upside down until it was completely smashed."
"That's a very bad dream. That dream was about Gideon, the son of Joash, one of the Israelites. It means that God has given all of Midian and all of our camp into the hand of Gideon.
When Gideon heard the Midianites talking about this dream and its interpretation, he worshipped God. Then he went back to his own camp of soldiers.
Right, everybody, let's go. God has given the Midianite army into our hands.
So Gideon divided his army of 300 people into 3 groups. He gave everybody a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch inside the jar.
Watch me and do whatever I do. We will sneak down to the edge of their camp. When I blow my trumpet, then everybody will blow their trumpet on all sides of the camp and shout, "For the Lord and for Gideon."
So Gideon and his men crept up to the edge of the camp very quietly in the middle of the night, and they all blew their trumpets and smashed the jars they were holding. They held the torches up high and blew 300 trumpets at the same time. They cried out, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon."
A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!
All of the Israelites just stood still where they were, and when they blew the 300 trumpets, the Midianite army started running around like headless chickens and attacked each other. It was a complete mess. Then the Midianites that were left all ran away. The Israelite army chased them until they had run away completely, and they killed the 2 princes of Midian. So God and Gideon and his army defeated the Midianites.